Right now, someone with half your salary could become richer than you. Not because they're smarter, not because they work harder, but because of one invisible force hiding inside every financial decision you make. If I gave you $1,000 right now, what would you do with it? Most people would spend it. Some would save it. A very few would multiply it. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Most of us never learned how to think about money. We learned math in school. We learned history. We learned science. But nobody ever taught us why we make the financial decisions we make. Nobody explained why smart, educated, hardworking people end up broke. And nobody warned us about the silent forces running quietly in the background of every choice we make. How you think about money matters more than how much money you have. This isn't about budgets. This isn't about investing apps. This is about the invisible software running in your brain deciding every financial choice you make, without you even knowing it. History is full of lottery winners who became broke again not because they lacked money, but because they lacked the psychology to manage it. And yet a school janitor named Ronald Reed quietly accumulated $8 million by investing his paycheck for decades. Same planet, completely different results. Why? It's not IQ. It's not luck. It's behavior. Think about that for a second. A janitor, someone who spent his career cleaning other people's offices, quietly became wealthier than most doctors, lawyers, and executives he probably cleaned up after. No MBA, no financial advisor, no secret tip, just the right psychology applied consistently over time. And the most dangerous trap on this list isn't even the obvious one: lifestyle inflation. We'll get there. Morgan Housel, author of The Psychology of Money, put it simply: financial success isn't a hard science, it's a soft skill where behavior matters more than knowledge. You know fast food is bad. You still eat it. You know you should save money. You still overspend. That gap between knowing and doing, that's where most people lose their financial future. And here's what makes it worse: we live in a world that is specifically designed to exploit that gap. Every advertisement, every sale, every one-click purchase is engineered by billion-dollar companies to make you spend before your brain can catch up. You're not weak. You're outgunned. Here's where it gets a little uncomfortable. The decade you were born in shapes your entire relationship with money. People who lived through the Great Depression never fully trusted banks again. Cash under the mattress, even decades later. Even when the economy recovered and the banks were safe, the fear never fully left. It was baked in, permanent. People who grew up in the booming 90s watched the market only go up, so they took risks others wouldn't. Then the dot-com bubble burst, and suddenly they learned a lesson the hard way that their parents already knew. You didn't choose your money story. It was written for you by your parents, your neighborhood, your first financial scare. Psychologists call it financial programming. Think about what you heard growing up. Rich people are greedy. Money doesn't grow on trees. We can't afford that. Money is the root of all evil. Sound familiar? These weren't facts. They were beliefs passed down like furniture from one generation to the next. And most of us are still carrying them without realizing it. There was a famous study where researchers asked people from different income backgrounds to describe what the word money made them feel. People from lower income backgrounds often used words like stress, fear, and shame. People from wealthy backgrounds said opportunity, freedom, and tools. Same word, completely different emotional reality. That emotional reality becomes your financial reality, because every decision you make about money passes through that filter first. Now let's get into it, and honestly, you'll probably recognize yourself in at least one of these. Trap 1. Lifestyle inflation. You get a raise, nice. Bigger apartment, nicer car, better restaurants follow. Income up 30%. Expenses up 35%. You're actually poorer than before. Here's a real example. A study of NBA players found that within 5 years of retirement, nearly 60% faced serious financial hardship. These were athletes earning millions of dollars a year. But as the salary grew, so did the mansion, the entourage, the cars, the jewelry. When the paycheck stopped, the lifestyle didn't. The trap isn't earning more. The trap is believing you deserve to spend more every time you earn more. That feeling, that reward, is the trap. Because the finish line keeps moving, and you keep running. Trap 2. Loss aversion. Kahneman and Tversky found something strange. Losing $100 hurts about twice as much as gaining $100 feels good. Let that land for a second. The pain of loss is not equal to the joy of gain. They're not even close. And this single psychological quirk is responsible for some of the worst financial decisions in history. In 2008, when the stock market collapsed, millions of people sold everything. They watched their portfolios drop and panicked. They locked in their losses. And then when the market recovered, they missed the entire comeback because they were too afraid to get back in. The investors who held through the crash, they came out richer than they went in. Not because they were braver or smarter, because they understood that loss aversion was lying to them. That's why people hold on to bad jobs, bad businesses, even bad relationships. Because the fear of losing what you have, even something bad, overrides the logic of gaining something better. Trap 3. Social comparison. We rarely buy what we need. We buy what signals status to people we barely know. Neighbor gets a BMW. Suddenly your perfectly fine car feels like a failure. Veblen called it conspicuous consumption spending, to be seen, not to be satisfied. And in his era, the comparison was limited to your street, your neighborhood, maybe your town. Now imagine what he'd think of Instagram. Instagram isn't just stealing your attention. It's quietly stealing your financial future. Every scroll is a highlight reel of someone's best moment: the vacation, the outfit, the restaurant, the car. And your brain, which evolved to compare itself to those around it for survival, can't tell the difference between a real neighbor and a filtered stranger with a ring light. The result? You feel behind. You feel inadequate. And you spend money you don't have to feel like you're keeping up with a race you were never actually in. The most dangerous words in personal finance are "everyone else has won." Trap 4. Present bias. Almost everyone gets this one wrong. Our brains are bad at valuing the future. We want the reward now, not in 30 years. Researchers once ran an experiment where they offered people a choice: receive $100 today or $150 in 1 month. Most people took the $100 immediately. 50% more money for just 30 days of waiting, and still most people said no. This is the engine behind credit card debt. Buy now, pay later. It's not stupidity, it's wiring. Your brain literally values the present more than the future. The pain of paying is pushed forward, and the pleasure of buying is immediate. And the credit card companies know this better than anyone. So we borrow money we don't have for things we don't need to impress people who don't care. The antidote isn't willpower, it's design. Make the future feel real. Picture yourself at 65 with nothing saved. Put a face to it. Give it detail. The more vivid the future feels, the more your brain treats it like the present, and the better decisions you make. Trap 5. Overconfidence. 93% of drivers think they're above average. Mathematically impossible. But the brain doesn't care about math. The same overconfidence that makes people think they're better drivers makes investors think they can beat the market. And statistically, they can't. Study after study has shown that the vast majority of active investors, even professional fund managers, underperform a simple index fund over 10 years. Not because they're foolish, because they're overconfident. People chasing hot stocks, timing the market, moving in and out on news cycles, all of them certain they're smarter than everyone else in the room. Spoiler, they're usually not. The best investors in the world, people like Buffett, Munger, Bogle, they all say the same thing: the secret is knowing what you don't know. Humility is a financial strategy. So how do you actually escape these traps? How do you rewire a brain that evolution built for short-term survival and use it to build long-term wealth? Money doesn't change people. It reveals them. If you can't manage $100, $1 million won't fix that. It'll just magnify it. The habits, the fears, the patterns, they all scale. Which means the work isn't in your bank account. It's in your head. Step 1. Know your money story. Sit down and write your earliest memory of money. What did your parents argue about? What did you hear about rich people growing up? What was your first experience of not having enough? Awareness alone begins to break the spell. You can't change a program you've never examined. Step 2. Automate your savings. Don't rely on willpower, it's a limited resource and you'll need it for other battles. Set up automatic transfers to savings and investments on payday, before you see the money, before the temptation arrives. What you don't see, you don't spend. Step 3. Define enough. This might be the most important step of all, and almost nobody does it. What does your enough look like? A paid-off home? 2 years of expenses in savings? A specific monthly income from investments? Without a clear answer, your mind defaults to more, and more is a finish line that never arrives. Step 4. Detach your ego from your money. Your net worth is not your self-worth. The car you drive doesn't measure your value as a human being. When you separate identity from income, something shifts. You stop making defensive financial decisions. You stop spending to feel worthy. And you start building quietly, confidently, without needing anyone to notice. Step 5. Play the long game. Most of Warren Buffett's fortune came after the age of 65, not some late life secret, just decades of compounding finally doing its work. Time is the only ingredient money can't buy, and every year you wait to start is a year you're choosing to give up. Let's go back to Ronald Read one more time, because his story deserves more than a footnote. Ronald Read was born in Vermont in 1921. He was the first person in his family to ever graduate high school, and he did it by hitchhiking to school every day because there was no bus. He served in World War II. He came home. He worked at a gas station for 25 years. Then he worked as a janitor at a JCPenney store for 17 more. He drove a used car. He split his own firewood to save on heating bills. He pinned his coat together with safety pins because he didn't want to spend money on a button. Every morning, he went to work like millions of ordinary people. No headlines, no interviews. No one knew that while others chased shortcuts, he was quietly building a fortune one small investment at a time. He died in 2014, at 92 years old. And when his will was read, people were stunned. He had left $6 million to his local library and hospital. His total wealth, $8 million. He never earned a large salary. He never got lucky on a stock tip. He just bought shares in good companies once he understood, like Johnson & Johnson, Procter & Gamble, JP Morgan, and he never sold them. Through crashes, recessions, wars, inflation he held. While Wall Street experts made million-dollar bets and lost, Ronald Read was quietly winning by doing almost nothing. That's the psychology of money in its purest form. Not intelligence, not information, behavior. Ronald Read's story teaches us something that no finance course ever will. Wealth is not a result of what you earn. It's a result of what you don't spend. It's a result of patience that nobody else sees. It's built in ordinary moments: the morning you chose not to upgrade your phone, the evening you made food at home instead of ordering in, the year you kept the same car even though your colleagues all bought new ones. Nobody sees those moments. Nobody applauds them. There's no Instagram post for choosing compound interest over instant gratification. But those moments add up, slowly, quietly, until one day the numbers are undeniable. Here's the thing about wealth that almost nobody talks about: true wealth is invisible. The person driving the flashiest car on the street might be one missed payment away from repossession, and the quiet person in the used car might have enough in their investment account to retire tomorrow. We judge financial success by what we can see, but real financial success lives in what nobody can see. Fear, greed, ego, comparison. One decision, again and again, until your future is written. Remember the $1,000 I offered you at the beginning? That was never a test of your wallet. It was a test of your psychology. Your income is not your destiny. Your psychology is. The stock market will crash again. Recessions will come. Opportunities will appear and disappear. But what determines your financial future isn't any of those external events. It's the 6 inches between your ears. Your fear, your patience, your ego, your discipline. One day, someone will look at your bank account and assume you got lucky. They'll never see the thousands of invisible decisions that built it. Because wealth isn't made in one moment. It's made in moments nobody notices. Ronald Read knew that. Now you do too. Change your psychology, and the money tends to follow.